still being the person who stands behind, reviews VODs, and gives the team the proper coaching is definitely different than playing in the moment. So there are some things that might still not work, or he could be someone who just shows up immediately, like Gotcha and Dizzy from or Dizzle from way back.
Oh, yes. And look at these bans. Okay, Montaigne gone, Thermite gone. So Montaigne being banned out by Scylla's Guerrillas, that's clearly an operator they do not want to mess with. Can be really good attacking onto the basement and other sites. And Thermite going means that Elevator not using their ban to take out Glaz, that's going to be available to them. And then Maestro getting taken off the board, that's pretty standard. The last one could be Amira, could be Echo, perhaps. Pulse? Oh, it will be Pulse. Look at me. So there's your 4 bans. What do you think about these?
Pulse shows up sometimes as a defender ban on certain maps. He's definitely not in the same league as Maestro, Echo, and Mira in terms of their ubiquitous. Everyone tries to ban them as much as possible due to how strong they make defensive sites. But on this map, I can definitely agree with the Pulse ban. There's the one place people like to sit in Vault that allows them to basically see anyone who's trying to push through the main server take, and that can be a very strong position there. And there's also a decent amount of vertical play that we've seen, even in Pro League. We've often seen someone sit in Archives and look up into the CEO room and deny plants that way. So a lot of potential there, and it looks like a Glass pick for Elevate. So I imagine eventually Scylla's Guerrillas will want to try to pick that back up in their favor and take their own Glass. But yeah, we didn't see a Glass ban, which is interesting considering Mex has played so much of it. And we do see a Thermite ban, which out of any hard breach ban is definitely the most impactful. Because with both Hibana and Maverick, they fulfill very similar styles. Hibana can open more hatches than Maverick, but they're both good for those hatches. If you ban a Thermite, however, getting the main server wall open is a lot tougher because you either need 2 or 3 sets of X-Kairos pellets, and that can definitely change up the way you play site.
For sure. If you look at these lineups from both sides, Rich, of course, bringing the Glaz, as you mentioned. We've seen him play this operator before, too, and he has been quite proficient on it. He's had some really nice games playing with the Russian sniper operator, so not a surprise to me that he's going to be picking it up once again. Likely the main reason they didn't ban it is because they felt that they wanted to play it as well, and they're not too worried about it when they move on to defense. We'll see if that ends up biting them in the butt, but I mean, if they can come in here and get a lot of rounds on attack, might just have been worth it for them. It's still going to be tough, of course, with no Thermite, as you mentioned. Getting that server's wall open is going to be really difficult. We'll see the match start off 30 seconds in, and we're seeing the attackers already getting on into Skylight. They're starting to look in towards Temper, who's hiding inside on the stairs. Just going to catch those grenades with his ADSs. Just wait for somebody to push in on aggressively to him as we start to see some of these floorboards open up as well.
Even though the Thermite ban was Scylla's ban, it is actually a really good plan that they have set in motion because they have the Kaid here as well, and he might actually pick this Ratilla back up.
He's trying.
Yeah, he wants to save at least one of those for the main server wall, because the fact that they need to use Hibana X Kairos pellets and they need to use more than one means that he can absolutely trick that wall much more easily than he would be able to if it was against a Thermite. So I think they have definitely already played into this sort of Thermite ban with that operator selection. Hopefully he can make good use of it. There is no Thatcher on the board, so I think this strategy is probably going to work out if they can execute it very well. And here we go. We're going to see if it's going to start working.
Yeah, this is really big if Mex can stop it. Oh, he's going to actually toss out the impact grenade, and that'll stop it instead. No, it did not. It missed a little bit, so that's unfortunate. The Electric Claw maybe would have worked a little bit better if he was a bit quicker with it. I guess he just thought he wasn't going to have that reaction time. Went for the impact grenade instead, and okay, so he did get a few of it. A few of those X-Kairos, but I think Lojax can still crawl on through, so it's not going to do what he wanted it to accomplish.
And now it's basically a game of whether or not they can deny the plant and whether or not Elevate can defend the plant. So not loading this, prepping a C4. They do have some information as an Echo drone is right there. They call it out. C4 misses, but Pixel does get a kill, and that is on the attacker side. So the Glaz getting a second one as Rich takes out Mex. And that leaves the defenders short-staffed, and Pixel gets yet another. Pixel gets his third kill of the round, leaving us in a 1v5. Abunai is trying to figure out what to do, peeks the corner, takes out Vayne with a nice headshot, SMG 11. The diffuser is going down. They have way too much space on the side of the attackers. Now he's going to try to flank around, see what he can do. From the hatch, gets another one. This is looking pretty good so far for Abunai. He's staying unpredictable, and that's exactly what you want to do in these clutch situations.
So tough though. Still, he needs the ace clutch. He needs to get the disable. Every second he wastes is going to be a second that goes even more in favor of the attackers. Nog is trying to hunt him down. He's made his way back into the bomb site, but Nog's ready for him, and he'll be able to close out that kill. Elevate, take round number 1. And again, we said it beforehand, Pixel's one of those players who can really pop off for this team, and he sure showed it in that matchup. Rich as well, getting a couple of kills, I believe one on the Glaz. So a good combined effort from Elevate once that push came in, once they were actually able to execute it. They didn't die to the C4. That was huge. They were just able to get all the kills that they had to get. They won their shots, and really well done by them to attack onto the basement, despite the fact that there were it wasn't great for them opening up everything that they wanted to.
Yeah, it definitely seemed we were watching Pixel's perspective for a lot of that match, and we saw him open up, I believe, both hatches without being contested at all, and that's just way too much space for Scylla's Guerrillas to give him, especially on this Maverick, where he takes so long to open a hatch. Especially if you want to open 2, you have to be very careful and use your resource wisely, otherwise you'll run out by the time you get the second one. So it takes so long, you gotta think you have to send someone up there, some roamer, to basically at least pressure him, make sure he gets off of that angle, because at the end we saw the execute happen with roughly 30 seconds left. That's still not too much time, and if you denied a little bit more time on the Maverick, then that round could have easily gone a different way.
So a good start from the guys in red. They're now going to have to attack on a staff room open area, and this is a bomb site we've seen Scylla's Guerrillas go to before. It's generally not too popular. I think for most teams, this is going to be the bomb site that they avoid the most. I mean, most teams prefer to go to the other 3 rather than this one, but it can work out sometimes. This means they're going to have to play it a little bit more aggressively than the other bomb sites, and that's why Mex is on the vigil. Is he going to go for a run it or something? If we can go back to his POV, this could be really exciting depending on what he's actually trying to do, because he was up top. Could go for a contention here. Lojax is the one who's going to be trying to challenge him. Pixel as well is over spawned in the southeast corner of the map. However, Mex is not going to be able to push his luck. He's just going to play up top and going to be denying as much as he possibly can from that top floor. Waste as much time as possible, because it's going to be important for Elevate to get this high ground, to be able to look on down into the bomb site, create a lot of open holes. In terms of soft destruction, they don't have a whole lot, but still, any holes that they can manage to make to open up those floorboards is going to be huge for them in taking control of this bomb site.
It seems like Scylla's was basically just trying to fake out Elevate with this bomb site pick, because Elevate did bring both hard breachers, which is something that is not quite as necessary for any site other than the basement sites. So they did manage to do that a little bit. So missing a little bit of fragging power there. Vayne actually gets the first pick, headshot onto Mex. Doesn't look like there's going to be any trade back, however. Seems like that kill happened on the second floor.
So that's a good start. His first kill of the match for the newly picked up player. He's going to be able to take down Mex, and again, that's been a really big one. However, Nog's going to come around and get another one, not loading. I believe he got up on the top floor as well, or did he get that through the floorboards? Regardless of how it happened, I think that's a really impactful kill. That's another one of your players who's going to be a little bit off-site. The castle, not one who's crucial to stay late into the round. You've still got your guys like Legion, who will get a little bit more powerful as the round goes on. But 2 players down is never a good place to be. Abunai got to make sure that it doesn't stay like that for long. Another big fragger being taken off the board, pushing up those main stairs, doing a lot of work. He's actually going to be playing a little bit in towards the basement. And so being down there, he's going to be really hard to flush out, and he's always going to be in the back of the minds of Elevate. They always have to watch out for this Valkyrie, who might be sneaking up behind them at any point in time.
And Valkyrie still playing off-site, the rest of the team playing on-site, so Temper might actually go for a little bit of an aggressive peek, but Rich is quick on the trigger finger, and he's able to take that out lickety-split. And now Abunai does see one other on the top floor, but he's stalking his prey right now, playing the patient game. They don't have the manpower for him to take a one-on-one trade, so he's just going to fall back to base a little bit. Meanwhile, Nugs trading out in open area a little bit. Smoke grenades go down, and he tries to peek it before they go off. That's not going to work as Rich takes his head off.
1-on-4, this is really tough for Abunai. won't be able to do it. Vayne, again, another great round by him, able to get a second kill. And that round was pretty much over as soon as the Legion went down. I mean, I don't disagree with the play to get aggressive there. Because I believe one guy was on drones, the other guy was a Glass. And a Glass in close quarters generally isn't going to hit those shots. But when you're going up against Rich, I mean, he's so good at hitting the shots when it's so important that he do so. And so he was able to win that 1v1. Very unfortunate on the side of Scylla's Guerrillas that they weren't able to close that one out. And that could be sort of the downside of playing that bomb site, right? It's a little bit surprising to me that they didn't go back to Locker CCTV. As you mentioned, I mean, there was probably just a shakeup. Make the enemy team, bring those attackers, have them attack onto this bomb site when they're going to be a little bit less prepared for it. But nonetheless, they decide it doesn't work. They're going to try it one more time to go back down to the basement and hold in Locker CCTV. The bomb site generally preferred by most teams to defend on, and the bomb site that I believe statistically has the best win rate for defenders.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And one thing is that it's definitely a trade-off if you want to try to surprise your opponents, because the most popular bomb sites are generally the most popular bomb sites for a reason. And I think on this specific map, both of the basement sites are just, or the basement site is just so strong that it sort of counterbalances throwing your enemy off guard. Like, if you can't win on the basement site, then even having the element of surprise might not help you win the rest of the sites. And one of the other things that I saw going wrong for Scillas during that last round is the fact that their roamers never really helped each other. They didn't bail each other out, they didn't refrag, they were sort of playing independent roamers, and even the kill that Abunai got was one after everyone else, after all the other roamers had died. He peeked up the stairwell to find someone on his drone, and so that, I wouldn't really consider that a refrag either. So it's just not a lot of cohesion between the roamers from Scillas Guerrillas, and especially on a map like Bank, I think it's really important to have that.
That lack of cohesion was something we were mentioning beforehand with this team. There's still a lot of young players on here, and they have been struggling a little bit in that regard. It seems like they're still maybe having a few problems when it comes to team cohesion, when it comes to these strategies. Round number 3, though, coming into it, we're only 2 rounds in, but it still might be a little bit concerning that Abunai is the only player on the side of Scillas Guerrillas to have gotten any kills. He's sitting up there with 3. The rest of the 4 guys on that team all sitting with big fat donuts. So only 2 rounds in. I'm sure they will get some as the game goes on, but you are a little bit concerned as you're coming in this 3rd round. Now Pixel is about to find somebody. If that guy peeks his head up behind the deployable shield, things could get really dangerous if Temper's not careful here, playing outside this shield. He could get punished, and here's a frag. Oh, no, it's going to be a screw top that comes on down. They did throw some frag grenades down there last time they were attacking this bomb site, though. This time they're not going to be bringing any operators out frag grenades, though.
Yeah, it actually seems a little bit weird that they're even tossing those Thatcher charges instead of saving them for the Kaid. Considering, even if you burn down, or even if you kill the ADSs, what does that give you, right? You can toss some flashbangs in there maybe, but you don't have one of those high impact things like a frag grenade, and as we see, Temper still got one of those up. So I would only be interested to see if, yeah, Nog still has 2 EMP grenades left, so he'll still be able to prevent any sort of Kaid shenanigans. But it seems like Nog actually pushes up from downstairs. Nobody on the rest of Scillas Guerrillas called that, and that was just a free kill to a flank.
What was Mex doing? He's playing in servers right now. He gets downed by Vayne, and that coming in through the dirt tunnel, I believe that's where it happened, but Mex really should have been able to stop that from happening. Completely caught off guard was Temper, and so he'll get shot in the back of the head. All of a sudden, it's a 2-man advantage in favor of Elevate. With a minute still to go, they're going to open up the server's wall, and they're going to be in a great position to get in and get this plant down on. What's going to be important here is if not loading, and the other players over on the side of Scillas Guerrillas can deny this plant. We see Smoke as the player with those 3 gas canisters that you can still toss out. Plant going down right now, and Elevate watching for that. The first gas canister gets popped, it'll get off the plant. So that's a little bit of time wasted now. 30 seconds though still for the attackers. Plenty of time to go.
30 seconds, but 2 gas grenades, and I believe still a C4 from Mira. They actually have enough time to stall this out for the rest of the round. So honestly, Elevate need to make something happen. They need to push someone in through Garage. They need to get a frag somewhere. Otherwise, they're just not going to be allowed to plant. 13 seconds left. The timer is going down. Vayne gets 1, but is traded out by not loading. Pixel gets a second. Now that leaves us with a 4v1 as not loading is the only one left, and he's all the way in Garage. Pixel will peek once again. The mastermind playing in Garage, able to clean up around for his team once again.
Yeah, and you said it there. They need to have somebody pushing through Garage. Well, what's Pixel going to do? He's going to do exactly that. Pushing through Garage, get 2 kills, and at that point, there's only one other player left for his teammates to clean up. They were able to successfully do that. It's a 3-0 advantage in favor of Elevate, and this is getting a little bit scary for the Guerrillas here because 3 rounds in a row, you have had plenty of opportunities to go to whichever bomb site you like. You're on defense. The meta right now is somewhat favored towards the defenders, so that makes this even worse. At best, you could go into this halftime with a 3-3 split, which would be okay. That'd be fine. You can still win on that, but you're really not putting yourself in an advantage in that situation. And with the way these rounds have been going, they've been so dominant in favor of Elevates that it's not looking likely Sills Guerrillas can claw back 3 in a row. Certainly, every round is a new round, and they could prove me wrong, but based on how they've been playing, it does not look good for them. They're going to change it up, go to CEO Executive for their 4th round, but man, I'm just hoping that something can work for them because so far nothing has.
Again, another peek at the scoreboard. Not Loading got 1 kill last round, and it was a refrag, so good on him for that. They definitely need to get more refrags on the board, but still just him and Abonai, the only ones on the board for their team, and that's something that just doesn't really fly, and you can't really straight up blame the players with zeros for the fact that they have zeros, because as we've seen, for the most part, Scillas just haven't had the team cohesion to back each other up. They haven't been putting each other in positions where one can refrag or one can bail someone out of a situation. You know, a lot of times if you have someone nearby, whether it's an anchor or another roamer who you trust, then you can peek your head out, fire a couple shots, and if you don't get the kill, you can just back off and have the other player basically jump in there and get the frag while the attacker's back is turned. But I'm just not seeing that from Scillas.
There have been some issues. They're going to try to resolve them here in round number 4. That last round, of course, I mean, Temper going down, that's a good point. You really can't blame him for that one. The fact they didn't get any kills. I think he had a really strong hold, and then he just got shot in the back because his teammates weren't watching that. So, certainly, it's not necessarily going to be the fault of the players with 0 kills that they have 0 kills, but some point in time, whether it's their teammates picking things up for them, getting that coordination nailed down, or them hitting their shots, something's going to have to happen if they want to be able to win this matchup, because it's been a pretty horrible start for them. And okay, that's something. That is something for sure. Not Loading vaults out of the window, gets a headshot on Devane. That is not an easy shot to take. He's going to go here, and oh wow, Elevate watches for the player who's going to be trying to watch for him, and he's actually going to win that gunfight and then loses it to the man that he has the eyes on. He has Not Loading detected. Finally, Nog vaults out, and he's going to be able to shut down that kill. But what a flank. What a run out from Not Loading. He did so much work there.
Yeah, that was huge, and on top of that, they were able to get the 2nd kill too, so both Pixel and Vayne go down. And that's actually putting the defense in a pretty good spot, especially considering they don't have the IQ to take out any of the echo cams. So the Yokais are going to be able to deny plants as much as possible, and they still have a mirror window up with a C4. Things are actually looking pretty good for Scillas right now. They have to make sure they avoid this glass, and they obviously need to play together. Nog actually gets killed off of, or gets a kill onto Temper. I'm not exactly sure where that was. Maybe he was trying to rotate back to site, but the fact that he didn't make it is definitely not good for his side. However, these are 2 of the strongest anchors that we have in the game right now left alive for the defenders, so it's definitely not over yet.
No, not bad players either. Abonai and Nugs, a lot of potential for these guys, and they've got the eyes. They've got the Yokai drone who can deny this plant. Not going to be a problem, and the glass can take a couple of shots uncharacteristically from Rich. C4 going to go out, but it's not going to hit it, but the headshot will through the desk as Lojack's going to go down. It leaves it all onto the glass to try to push forward this player advantage. It's quickly slipped away, and he's missing these shots. You can't miss those. Abonai finally gets around for Souls Guerrillas.
Yeah, and that was a really good defensive play at the end, and really good game sense by Abonai, just finding the head through the wall, able to deny the plant that way. And overall, just the 2 remaining anchors for the side of Scillas clutched that one out for sure. And unfortunately, Rich missed a lot of really clutch shots there. He had 2 potential opportunities where he could have killed the Mira and just ended up whiffing some of those shots. Not what you want to do with Glaz, but in his defense, they were pretty close range shots as well, and he was sort of forced to push up. Not a situation you want to be in as a Glaz, but Scillas will definitely be happy with that one, especially since they won a site that wasn't Locker CCTV, which means they can go right back down here for their defense. Still probably the most viable site on this map, even though it hasn't really been working out too well for them so far. I think as Corn Pop was mentioning during the last round, one of the main reasons they lost the last basement defense was because there was just nobody watching the underside of the stairwell, and someone was just able to flank right up behind Temper and take him out.
And I mean, it's an issue too. It's puzzling because you had somebody playing in there. I believe it was Mex who's playing inside of the servers, or perhaps it was Albanai, but whoever it was, you know, they should be able to stop that from happening, because he died in servers shortly after. But hello, did they just open up the skylight hatch? Am I seeing that correctly? This is very unorthodox. If they're gonna open that on up, that's I mean, that's something that the defenders don't have to deal with anymore. They're gonna put these more so on the top floor. So this tells me that they're likely gonna be playing a very aggressive basement hold, not something that they've done in the past. And I like this. I think this plays their playstyle really well, because they can get these shots, they can win these gunfights, and they can land the headshots that they need to. If they're choosing to play this really aggressively, I'm very excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, the main trade-off of keeping that what a skylight peak. The main trade-off of opening up that hatch in stocks is the fact that you can. It's really good for post-plant scenarios if you want to retake, because you can have a flank or a roamer flank around and basically shoot down on anyone through servers. The downside, of course, is that you're essentially just giving up servers for free. The attackers have servers. There's hardly no chance you're going to defend that. So it is definitely an interesting strategy, and it does seem like they're playing it aggressively as well, so just trying to deny space as much as possible. Hopefully they can get some picks early on in the round, as not loading is waiting in and around open area to try to cut off anyone who tries to get a little bit cheeky on the attack.
Yes, they have a couple of guys here, and they're going to be looking to get aggressive. You see Pixel's already made his way into the janitor closet, but they had not properly cleared that out. Temper from down below is going to hit that headshot. Really well placed shot. It's going to put a player advantage in favor of the team currently down 3-1. That is a good place to be in. And we see this aggressive strategy, maybe catching Elevate a little bit off guard. They're going to use a little bit of the soft destruction, start opening up some walls, open up some of those floorboards. And that's some of those lifelines that are not going to be able to get used on those castle barricades, which again is a little bit unorthodox. The fact it's being brought. Nog, however, is going to be able to get the kill onto Temper, stands himself back up, so it's not even a trade. That's really important. He was able to pull that off. Rich getting a shot as well. He's just running on forward. His teammate going to fall though. Vayne, again, the new player, shut down by Albanai. So the fact they're playing so aggressively means that they can do these strategies where they just take the gunfights, and they've been winning them more or less. I mean, it's a 3-on-3 we're at right now, but a lot of health has gone down on the side of Elevate. They don't have a whole lot to work with. Only LoJax, the support player for Elevate, with all of his HP still on the board. Compare this to defenders, they've got all three of their members nice and healthy. Still a couple of them sitting down in the bomb site. I think all three of them. So yeah, with Albanai here down by the main stairway. So they're ready for this push to come in. They're looking very healthy, and they've taken some key operators off of the board too.
Yeah, there's still a Lesion and a Smoke on the board for the side of Scylla's as well, and against a literally 5 health Sophia, any of that is going to kill her immediately. And speaking of, there's a Lesion trap. Elevate is on the back foot right now, 2v2, 30 seconds left. They have to push in close with a glass. However, the plant is going down as the defenders have given up the CCTV room. Off of the rotate, not going to get killed, however. Albanai actually manages to push through, and he gets the kill onto Rich, leaving us in a 1v2. Not a very good clutch situation, especially for Habana. The low clip is not going to be working out. Albanai finds the headshot through a tight peek through the doors.
That's your second round in a row. You're basically relying on Rich to do something there. You could have had LoJax pop off as well, but playing on the Habana, that's really tough, and just his play in this game so far has not looked like he's then had a good shot for that. So that's a second round where a lot of pressure has been put on Rich, and he started off well. He almost got that second one too. Albanai, he had brought out the pistol. If he had just got, get one more shot in, he would have been able to find that kill as well. But it's tough, because the camera's going to be on him in those clutch situations, and he has been losing them. But as a Glaz, those are hard to win. You're in close range situations. You don't want to be the guy who has to clutch as a Glaz, and so you don't want to be getting to that point, right? If you're Elevate, you need to take a look back and you saying, okay, why is Rich constantly in these like 2v3s or 1v2s or whatever he's in, and how can we change the round so that he's not in these situations, and so that he has support when we go for these plans, when we have to protect the diffuser, and when we get into these last dying seconds of the round, how can we keep everybody else alive?
And that's a very good point as well. And Elevate really need to figure things out and speed up their attack a little bit. But it's not even a situation where you can just say, hey, you need to speed up your attack. There are a lot of steps that they were utilizing in their attack. They had a pretty good roam clear last round, and even the round before that too. They basically took all of the roamers off the board before they started their execution. It's just the anchors were able to take them out in both accounts. So overall, Scilla has been playing their anchor game very well, and Elevate, I'm trying to think of a way that they could potentially speed up their roam clear and get into a position where they can basically execute sooner than before. Maybe they don't have to roam clear as many angles if they have someone on a particular angle in flank watch. That could potentially be an answer, but on bank it's just so difficult with how many different angles a defender could possibly have on you. If you don't go for the full roam clear, oof. Max with a spawn peek head shot onto Rich, and he's gonna dance around a little bit. And that is the glass off the board as well. So really good situation right now for Scilla.
He won't have to clutch this round, I'll tell you that much. He's not going to be put in that situation, so you got that going for you if you're Elevate. But of course, your player going down, that's never a good thing to happen to you, Mex. He's the guy who's going to be getting aggressive, however, a little bit too aggressive that time. Nog somehow had the information from his team, likely good calls coming through for him there, and so able to make it a 4-on-4, not too bad. Mex again can be really, really powerful on that dock. One of his favorite operators to play on the defense. He likes those long angles. He likes to play the ACOGs, the glasses, whatever is available to him. So not surprising to me that he's going to be on that operator. But one character I want to talk about over on the side of Scilla's Guerrillas is Abenai. He's sitting at a 3.0 kill death ratio right now, 9 kills and 3 deaths. That's really impressive. He's a player that has been a little bit quiet this season. It's going to be up to his teammate not loading. There was a little bit of a gunfight over down in Tellers up against Vayne. Again, the new player, the guy coming into this team to try to save their season. A great impact grenade, going to deal a little bit of damage on a Vayne with half his health. Temper at the same time. Over somewhere else on the map takes down Nog though. And so this is going to be even more crucial for Vayne to win, and he's not going to do it. Does get the kill on a Temper, but goes down. And yes, not loading, able to finish that one off. So it's going to be Pixel and Low Jackson. Pixel is a player who we've seen pop off, but these last couple of rounds has been a little bit quiet.
Yeah, and now Nugs and Abunai. Abunai actually goes down, but Nugs does get a headshot on a Pixel, and now we have another situation where it is Elevate versus the Roamers. Or versus the anchors. Well, one anchor, and this time not loading is the second one, but the mirror is still on the board, is essentially what I was trying to say there. And it is once again a Hibana, so if they do end up forcing a situation where it is a clean 1-on-2, there's a good chance he's going to run out of bullets, and nice pings on the side of Scilla's. Not loading is going to be able to wallbang him. There's that coordination we were looking for, right? That was really, really well done. Of course, didn't have that sight, but he's got the pings, he's got the calls from his teammates, the information was there, the setup was good, and they're going to actually take a win on Staff Room Open Area. So just as I was saying, only 3 short rounds ago, it's going to be tough for them to claw it back. They do just that, and they're going to make it 3-3 as we go into this half swap. Really important that they were able to do that, because now they get to move over to the defensive side where, or sorry, the attacking side, where you can tell Mex is not hiding anything. He's playing Glass. Yeah, I think Elevate probably knows he's playing Glass too, so no real reason to go for a 6-pick fake out on that one. And one thing I've actually been mentioning for a while is that I think 6 picks, you have good 6-pick operators in Valk and IQ and Echo. Those are ones that typically counter each other, so it can be good to use 6-pick fakes there. The other main reason to use a 6-pick, and I don't think teams have been doing this enough, is to fake a bomb site. A castle is a really good operator to do this with, because castle is basically incredibly important on some bomb sites and nearly useless except for his gun on other bomb sites. So you can often fake like you're trying to play a certain bomb site. If you pick castle and then 6-pick off of it, then suddenly your opponents go, oh wait, they're playing this bomb site, they have a castle, so let's switch our hard breachers around or something like that. And I think that's something that teams haven't really been utilizing enough yet, but I have been seeing some more and more of it recently.
I think Oregon a great map where that can come into a play a lot with the castle. Maybe if you think that they're bringing a castle, maybe they're going kitchen rather than tower. Say if the defense just won 2 bomb sites in a row upstairs and then in the basement. This time, however, Vayne sticks the castle, and so he's going to want to be playing it here on the basement hold. And I'm interested to see how they choose to set this on up, because of course 3 rounds in a row they've just lost. Now they have to compete with Mex on the glass, who we've been hyping up, and if he doesn't perform, I'm going to look like a big fool, so I hope that he does. come and get a couple of shots. He's wasting no time at all. Already inside of Server's room. There's nobody inside of Server's stairs, apparently. They're still setting up, and he's already peeking into the bomb site. Mex has caught them completely off guard, and he gets rewarded. Starts off this half, a nice shot onto Nog, and you can tell Nog on the smoke. You don't want him dying early. Had no idea that there would be a glass that quickly into the site.
Yeah, where is Elevate's presence anywhere near server or the stairwell or any place that should be able to hear or see Mex running in there? And that's, again, like you mentioned, the smoke off the board. That is huge for for plant denies. Pixel does get temper, however, and that's a pretty good frag. That's the Maverick off the board. I'm not exactly too sure why he was down here instead of around and getting the hatches, but they do get the main wall open, and Mex finds the head on Pixel, finding the Pixel, and he's able to take him out. Beautiful shot by him, and now that leaves Scylla's on a pretty good spot in this round.
Oh, he's feeling it today, and as I mentioned, Scylla's Guerrillas, they get a little bit of momentum, they get a little bit excited, and they don't miss shots. 3 rounds in a row is exactly what they need to jumpstart their match. They're looking really good attacking on this bomb site. They have the player advantage. They still have a minute 30. They've already opened up the wall. They just got to bait out utility, go for the plant. There's at least one nitro cell, still in the hands of Valkyrie. But once that gets baited out, you can basically just plant for free. You do have to get rid of that Echo drone as well, but you've got the IQ, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue for you. You should be able to watch that, and you can tell not loading. He's looking for it. Should be able to find it. Nugs will get this plant down, but denied by Lojax.
And so far, we have another engagement here. Vayne finding the head on Abunai in Garage. That is a huge denial, as Garage allows the attackers to get such a huge angle, but Mex keeps finding head after head. Headshots after headshots, and now the plant goes down. He was covering his teammate perfectly, and now this is a tough retake situation to be in, as Lojax wasn't able to deny the plant with any yokais. And now it's a 2v3. They're against a Glaz, and Mex has already gotten 2 kills. Ooh. Looking for some more. Will he try to go for an aggressive peek? Looks like he will. Just barely misses the shoulder. Nugs actually takes out that kill, and leaving us with a 1v3. Rich is the only one who can do it. Pulls out the PMM, not quite able to do it. Gets a couple of damage points down, but Rich gets 2 peeks around the corner, not able to get the third, however. That was a really close one. Not loading, able to bring it back after his team got a little bit too aggressive there.
That was scary, actually. Rich had a really good opportunity to completely shut down that round for Scylla's Guerrillas. They were looking so good, and then I think they got a little bit cocky when you saw the Glass pushing forward, Mex bringing out that PMM. You don't need to do that in that situation, but he'd already gotten 3 kills that round. He was feeling pretty good. Oh, I'll just push. My whole team's not going to collapse around me, and they almost did. You need to be careful when that happens. Thankfully, not loading, sticking around, and able to shut off that potential comeback on the side of Elevate. So the attacker's going to win another round here in this map. That's going to make it 4-3, the first time that Scylla's Guerrillas have taken the lead, and they're going to have to attack on a basement CCTV. Again, Locker's CCTV is where they're going to be headed, and we'll see if there's any bit of a different strategy from Elevate. I think if they're able to watch servers a little bit more, this should be very holdable for them, because that was a huge problem and a very, hopefully, easy one to fix for these guys.
Yeah, it's a fix that shouldn't be too hard. It essentially just comes down to having someone play or even watch. Like, you have a Valkyrie cam in server, and that's basically it. You can watch server, you can warn your team, and Nog doesn't get killed right off the bat like that. So a bunch of different strategies you could employ there. I don't think there was someone from Elevate playing the stairs either, which is a little interesting. That's a very important spot to contest. For the most part, it seemed like Elevate kind of gave up all the positions the attackers wanted to have and tried to rely on plant denial and post plant, and it just didn't work out for them.
And we saw like a style of that happening from Scylla's Guerrillas when they were defending and they had opened up the hatch and they played up top. They played really aggressively, but it wasn't really the same type of hold. Yeah, they gave up a lot of room to the attackers, but they were still harassing them, but quite a bit. They were playing on those top floors. Yeah, and they were taking their gunfights, and they were able to get enough kills that it came down to it. Once those roamers were taken off the board, it was 3-on-3, and their anchors were able to hold that down. Whereas when Elevate did it, they just gave up ground and they got nothing from it. So that's going to be a key thing to work on this time. Mex, again, he's inside servers. Does anybody know? I mean, at least they aren't slow on their setup this time. It's been a little bit slower of an entry on the side of Mex, so I don't think he's going to get a free kill under the smoke this time. But still, he's in, and there's no contention coming out from the defenders.
There was a Valkyrie cam that was set up in tunnel, so if you got to think at this point, someone has to be watching that cam, or at least have spotted it. So they should know at this point. Whether or not they're able to do anything about it is a different story, as it seems like nobody is trying to flank through stocks, nobody's looking down the hatch, no one's going through stairs. It's a very interesting defensive setup, even though Vayne, I see, was second floor, or was first floor. He's not necessarily opting to flank quite yet. And yeah, it seems like, again, the attackers just get all the space that they want. And at this point, they're relying on Plantenai once again. Abunai finds the castle. Maybe they'll try to seek him out. And it seems like they will be able to. That is a very clean headshot by the F2.
Such a great gun, and an operator that a lot of people are not having a great time playing against, but it can be utilized so effectively. Abunai, again, a player who's really popped off this game. I believe he's still top of the scoreboard for his team, so great job by him. This defuse is about to get planted. Do they have this information? There's no plant now coming out. No, because it's going to get it, and that is a very early plant going down. We see another kill in favor of the attackers, too, so Pixel, maybe he was trying to deny that. Either way, he's in the grave now. It's going to be all up to his teammates. Rich gets a lot of damage pumped into him. It's Abunai again with the F2 from up top. Mex gets another one in the glass, and he'll finish off this round. Scylla's Guerrillas look dominant and Elevate. Despite the strong start to this matchup, it looks like these roster changes were working for them, but this is slipping, and they need to pull it back. Otherwise, I cannot think that this is going to go, this is going to be playoffs for them. It's going to be so tough.
There is a sort of fundamental flaw in the way that Elevate has been running their defenses. Like CCTV on Bank and Laundry in Oregon are like the two poster children for a plant deny site. Those are sites where you need to focus so many resources on plant denial and just preventing the attackers from getting into the position where they can just walk up and plant the diffuser. And I'm seeing none of that here by Elevate. They give up servers without any contesting. They give up the stairs. Nobody's even flanking. I can sort of understand maybe giving up server if you have one, maybe two roamers trying to go around and flush them out afterward, but they didn't even do that. So it's very strange. They're just letting the plant go down. And even if they were trying to fall back, giving up server and relying on plant denial, they haven't even been doing that. They ran Echo both times, and both times the defuse still went off. Elevate really need to change their mentality in how they defend this. I don't know if the second site is going to work, but at the very least, they don't have to worry about having your entire defense focused on a plant deny on this site.
So at this point in time, including this matchup, every team, including Elevate, have 4 matches left to play. And Elevate don't technically need all 4. I believe they can get in with just 3 games. In fact, I'm sure that they can get in with only winning 3 games. But this is like probably the
not the one you want to lose. Yeah.
No, I mean, Scylla's Guerrillas, do not get me wrong, this is a good team. There are no bad teams this season in Challenger League. But this is also the team that's sitting with a 1-1-8 record, right? This is the team. It's not going to get easier after this, right? So you're worried if you're Elevate. And I think especially in this situation when you're facing a team that works really well with momentum, and when you have been a bit of an emotional team this season, you have not really handled your losses well. You're looking really scared, and Mex, you're just giving him free opportunities. We saw there, a player runs past his scope. He's a little bit slow with the trigger finger, doesn't want to give his position away, and so he's not rewarded with a kill, but it's those little mistakes that might snowball into something a little bit more devastating, and Mex, pull the trigger, my guy. That was a very easy kill. If they give that to him again, surely he takes it.
Surely he must. And it's interesting because you got to think, people just keep walking past this. It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo right here. And but yeah, it's interesting because you got to think that Elevate should know that Mex is playing this angle. Like, where else do you play a Glass? This is such a strong position, and of course Mex is going to play Glass. It's Bank, and you're not even playing the downstairs site. Of course the Glass is going to be super impactful, so I'm surprised they're not sort of watching out for this already. So Rich is playing really forward actually for an Echo, and he is going to be taken down immediately. That's Yokai drones off the board. Why is the Echo the one playing far up? And now Mex gets to down another one. That's Pixel going down. Abunai is going to confirm that kill. And now we're just seeing angle after angle held by the attackers, and they're just bringing the chokehold on the defenders.
If Vayne was brought in to save this roster, this is when he needs to do it, and he gets a bullet to his skull. Not loading delivers that one free of charge. There's only 2 players. There's only 1 player. This is frankly a disaster. Nog cannot find anything. It's a perfect round for Souls Gorillas, and the best case scenario for Elevate is a tie. That's 6 rounds in a row. Souls Gorillas, again, they work with this momentum. Oh, and they can feel this so good right now. Elevate are just not looking like they're playing this game.
Yeah, and Elevate seems like another sort of momentum style team, especially with this match
Yeah.
too. As soon as those first couple rounds started going by the wayside, we've seen their defenses get more and less cohesive over time, and it just doesn't seem like they are able to find their footing. So they need to just take a deep breath and they need to figure out something, fall back to a strat that they know and love, something that they know they can execute, because right now it is just not working. I think a couple of the players on their team are trying to hero it out, and that's not really what you want to do when the momentum's not in your favor, because again, as we've been talking about this entire series, having your fragging potential is a lot stronger when the momentum is in your favor. But as soon as it's not, then that's when you start missing more and more shots. That's why a lot of times we see in 1vx situations, if someone gets the first 2 kills, they have a very strong chance to keep going and getting more, because they have the adrenaline, they have the momentum. And I'm just not I just don't think this is the way Elevate should be playing to try to get back into it.
To look at some positives, I mean, Abanai over on the side of Souls Gorillas, he's been having a phenomenal game. 14 kills for him, way above anybody else on the scoreboard. From 9 rounds, 14 kills is really good. This is a player that during the qualifiers actually was looking like one of their best players. He was doing these types of performances. He was fragging off almost every single game. He was playing really well, but once Challenger League started up, he was slowing down a little bit. We saw guys like Mex, we saw guys like Not Loading taking the mantle of the top fragger on the team, and that was fine because Abanai wasn't playing like horribly. But there was a bit of a role swap, and now we see him coming back into form. The rest of his team clearly don't need to be fragging out in this matchup. If he's doing the work, if he's managing to get all of the kills that he needs to, then, you know, why not? But it's good to see him returning to form. I think he's a great player, and I'm glad that he's coming back into this matchup and coming back to how we used to see him over in the Challenger League qualifiers a couple of months ago. So definitely always had this potential, and again, this team, they're a little bit inexperienced. They don't necessarily have that coordination all the time, but I think they've got so many individual skill on their team, and so I think this is really impressive by him.
Have a really close hold by Vayne, and he's gonna get peeked, but Mex takes a really late shot, and he's not actually going to find the kill. That was a really close one. He's still going to hold the pixel, but he does know that server is actually being contested this time by a Jaeger, and he's got ADSs set up too. So this is finally a position where Elevate just aren't just going to give up this time around. So I'm excited to see how this defense goes, and it seems like Rich, again, that's a questionable decision to have your Echo peak so hard, but he does get the frag, so who am I to complain?
Exactly. Vayne is now taking the 1v1, and again, Max is going to hit those shots. It's basically a gamble. Is the glass looking the right direction? And that time he sure was, and able to pull the trigger finger fast enough. Makes it a 4-on-4, and I agree with you. It's very questionable to have your Echo being playing so aggressively, but okay, no harm, no foul. It works out for him. Abanai with a really important mirror window being taken off of the board. Twitch, again, such a great operator to be bringing, especially in this situation. Great gun, really good utility, too, when you're up against a Mira. So that leaves LoJax a little bit vulnerable, and he's having a little bit of trouble this game, but he's been playing support. And I don't think I want to give him too hard of a time because he has been doing a pretty good job in terms of his supportive roles and staying alive for the most of the rounds. So, you know, credit to him, but it's going to be tough for him and his team to hold on to that position without that Mira window. You see Temper starting to open up these hatches, and again, no Thermite hasn't really seemed to stop the attackers. That was a great angle, and Nugs is going to be able to take advantage of it. We saw it right before it happened, and Mech's still peeking in here as well. 35 seconds, these gas canisters are going to get start to get expelled as they start to try to plant this bomb. Excuse me.
And there should still be a C4 left on the Mira, if I'm not mistaken, so they do have a decent amount of time, and yes, it does look like there is a C4 left. So they have a decent amount of stall. Last smoke grenade goes out, 20 seconds left. They will be able to get this plant down a little bit, but Pixel and LoJax get 2 kills back to back. Nog brings it back as well, and Nog gets another headshot. Elevate finally bring themselves back after a 6-round losing streak, and hopefully this is the momentum swinging back in their favor.
I was worried. As soon as we saw Abanai drop into the smoke, I'm like, this could be where everything falls apart for Elevate, but they killed him immediately, and I think that was so huge. I think also just the start of that round, I mean, playing inside of servers, holding on to that. We talked about this with the last couple of times I tried to defend on lockers, and it didn't go well for them. This time they changed their strategy. They don't just give that up for free, and I think that's huge for them. And this is that momentum swap, right? When you're playing a team like Scylla's Guerrillas, they're a little bit underexperienced, and they play off of this hype, they play off of this momentum. They might get a little bit comfortable once they're up 6-4. They know they can't lose it. They're just excited for the win. You can take advantage of that, especially when you've got as much experience as Elevate do. When we were at the middle of the season and Elevate were starting to slip, I mentioned it on stream sometime. I was like, you know what? These guys have got a ton of experience. I'm sure it's just a bad couple of weeks. I believe they can bring it back. And for a while here, it's been looking like that they haven't been able to do that. They're on their last leg right now. I mean, maybe not technically, but time is running out to get back on your horse and to get back into the swing of things. This round right here, the next round, are going to be very crucial, not just to this game, but to the season as a whole. 1 point is so much better than 0 points in this situation, if not for the scoreboard, but at least for your mental capacity, at least for your mental state. Being able to come into the next game of the day, knowing that you've won the last 3 rounds you just played, knowing that you are at least a good enough team to beat or to tie with Scylla's Guerrillas, you're not losing to these guys. That's going to be a much needed mental boost when you go up into your next match, which is not going to be as easy as this one.
Speaking of the standings, I'm going to talk about them a little bit. We have Elevate at 6, and they have 10 points. The 4th place team, so lowest playoff standing team, is Toon Squad at 16 points. So that's a 6-point difference. You get 3 points for a win. Therefore, Elevate need to win 2 games to tie Toon Squad, assuming Toon Squad don't win any of their games. A tie would break that tie that they have. So if they get a tie, then winning 2 games over Toon Squad would actually solidify their spot instead of only having it be a tie and having it go to a tiebreaker. So it is important to have a difference between a tie and a loss in this game, especially, like you said, for the mindset, but also for the standings. So this is a very important game for Elevate.
Scylla's Guerrillas, they managed to take a fair amount of ground as they're attacking here on the next bomb site, but wow, Pixel with a really tight angle. Temper doesn't even know what hit him. That's another really important frag to start things off and get the momentum back into your favor. You see they brought a lot of fragging operators here. They brought a ton of ACOGs, both the French operators being brought by Elevates as they continue to try to hold on to this bomb site. Being harassed by a couple of Twitch drones, and Rich with another great shot. Rich with 3. Oh boy, he is coming out here and he is not messing around. Really wants to push his team to be able to at least get the tie in the situation. They're pushing up with Max, but he doesn't win this. Rich gets down, cannot find the ace. Nugs puts a bullet into his skull, but still a 4-on-1. The damage has been done. Nugs, there's nothing he can do. Elevates take another round, and they're only 1 away from at least getting the tie.
It was a super fast round, and I gotta say, Elevate, they're bringing together their communication, because that sort of play would not have been able to happen if they didn't have the information that pretty much the entirety of Scylla's was pushing up through the main lobby. So that allowed everyone from Elevate to rotate over. It allowed Rich to peek without ever having to worry that someone was behind him and someone was sneaking up on him, and that just solidified the round for their team. And I think Scylla's very questionable decisions on their side too, to push 1 by 1 up the spiral stairs, and the first 2 people die. I talked earlier about how if you get 2 kills, your adrenaline's pumping, you're going, you got the momentum, and they just keep peeking the same guy, and eventually the last person standing was able to down him. But at that point, it's a 1v4, so you still don't really have much of a position to win the match. So I really like Elevate's play there, and I think Scylla's at this point is the team that's maybe getting a little bit too comfortable with their lead, or maybe they're starting to lose their footing after their win streak was basically stopped.
We talked about Aubenai just a couple of rounds ago. I mentioned 14. That's very good, but he is still at 14. Has not found anything the last 2 rounds in a row, and that's a big reason why Scylla's Girls haven't been able to close out any rounds since round number 9. Max as well, still sitting at 7, playing the Glass. I mean, these last couple of rounds haven't gone their way. This might be their best opportunity, though. Attacking onto staff room open area, this is going to be their best chance to try to get around on attack, because it's the bomb site that most teams don't like to go to. It's the bomb site that Elevate have avoided for 5 rounds in a row. Now they're forced to go here with both lockers and CEO being closed off. So this is definitely the best opportunity, but with the momentum flowing, the adrenaline pumping, this could still be very favorable for Elevate. They just need to close out 1 more round, and they can get this crucial tie for the standings to keep themselves alive and keep their momentum high as they try to go into these next few matches. Round will begin, and we'll we'll see how it plays out.
It seems like lately in both Pro League and in the amateur scene, this site has become more popular than Teller's Archives, and I think a lot of that is due to people finding out better mirror setups, and we see a lot of different things that different teams, different ways that teams set up these sites using those mirror windows, and I think they can actually be very strong. That's, of course, if there is no mirror ban. I'm not exactly sure what the pick rate of this site is when there is a mirror ban. I would have to check up on that. But overall, yeah, this site has been a little bit more viable in recent times than in the olden days.
We see teams like to play it more and more, and we see teams like to play it really aggressively too. And again, I think that's another thing being brought by Elevate. They've got these operators who can really take the long angles. Pixel's gonna get one, Rich as well, makes it a 5-on-3. All of a sudden, that's Mechs down and that's Nugs down. Two really important operators, your Hard Breach and your Glaz. Temper not so lucky either. Nog gets him, Nog with another. This is gonna be it. It's only Abinai, the star player for the round, to be able to try to close out Elevate and shut things down. He'll start with a good kill onto Pixel. That's been a big player. They'll start healing themselves back up though, and again, they're in a really strong situation. A minute 20 is plenty of time, but Abinai needs the ace clutch, and this is so difficult. No matter who you are, no matter what your situation, an ace clutch is never gonna be easy. He'll drop down into the third floor and begin to make his advance. Vayne down on that bottom floor playing with the ACOG had a really good opportunity, but Abinai stays with most of his health still intact. Vayne will just choose to back off. You don't need to take those gunfights. Don't give up your life easily. Abinai, make him work for it.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that most of Elevate have run back to the site, they're holding back, and they're just making sure that they can keep each other covered with crossfires. Aside from that quick peek that Vayne did, the rest of them have been staying on site, and that's exactly what you want to do in a 1v4 situation. They know how important this match is, they know how important it is to tie rather than lose, and so they do not want to give this up no matter what. Abinai with a beautiful headshot through the wall onto Rich. Good information callouts by the rest of his team, and we'll see what the F2 can do if it can clutch out the rest of this round. He walks right past the Hibana holes that have been opened up on the bottom of the main wall here. Vayne is holding a close angle, doesn't see the cross, and it seems like Abinai is gonna get a headshot. 2 versus 1, as this is a situation that Abinai is running out of time during. One of them goes downstairs to hide, and now Abinai actually runs up behind him. He doesn't get the kill, but he knifes! What? Lojax goes down, and now Elevate have one member of their team left. Nog is waiting for the plant. He decides to peek around, and he will not find the head. That allows the plant to go down, and now it is a clean 1-on-1. He missed his opportunity. Abinai pulls out the pistol. He's not going to get it. That was one of the closest potential aces I have ever seen, and Abinai not quite able to clutch it out for the round.
That was incredible. If he had been able to get the last kill on a Nog, that would have easily been the best play of the season. But it doesn't happen like that. Elevate, with their last remaining member, do clutch the round. Nog in a 1-on-1 to finish it off. That was such a great try from the side of Scylla's Guerrillas to finally try to close out that round. It doesn't happen though. Elevate will get the tie, and man oh man, what a way to end that game. That was huge. Abinai sitting with 18 frags. He should be very proud of how he performed. But I think Elevate are the team who are going to be leaving this match a little bit happier, getting that tie so crucial for the rest of their season. And wow, just what a game.
What a game indeed, and that was so scary at the end there. Just the fact that Abinai got the plant down and didn't die during the plant because the time had run out. There was no chance that he could fake the plant. So the fact that it went down and he was able to take a clean 1-on-1, that was just scary in itself. But oof, he ended up going down at the end, and I'm still a little shaken after that.
Oh, my heart is racing because that was crazy stuff. The tie does come out. Both teams will get 1 point and move a little bit farther up that scoreboard. Elevate very much still in the running for playoffs, and they're gonna have to perform in their next couple of games, but they're sure shooting for it. We're gonna head off to a break. We'll come back to you with our next matchup, Organized Chaos.